Have you ever heard the phrase, it's not just what you say, but how you say it? What that means is that the words that we use oftentimes can be misinterpreted from the intended meaning based on the tone of voice that we use or even our body language as we're speaking. In writing, authors will oftentimes intend one thing and be taken another way. To help us understand what that means, we need to look at the difference between denotation and connotation. Many words are going to have two levels of meaning. When we talk about denotation, that is the basic meaning of the word. We could say it's the dictionary definition. In this case, we're asking, what does the word literally mean? Connotation is the other level of meaning. And this deals with the positive or negative emotions that a particular word makes us feel. Here we're going to ask, how does the use of the word make me feel personally? Then there will be words that would be considered neutral, and they have neither positive or negative connotation. In this lesson, we're going to focus specifically on denotation, just the basic meaning of the word, and connotation. How does using that word within the context of the sentence make a person feel? We will find that words with the same denotation can have very different connotations. Let's look at an example. The sky was silvered with clouds and the wind was brisk. The sky was gloomy with clouds and the wind was freezing. Now, you may see some words here that you do not know, but these sentences are saying the exact same thing. The author's intended meaning is clear in both sentences. But when you hear the first sentence, think about how it makes you feel. Then look at the second sentence and think about how that makes you feel. We see the first sentence has a positive connotation. Silvered and brisk really make the sky sound appealing. However, the second sentence has a negative connotation. Gloomy and freezing make the sky actually sound unpleasant. Even though these sentences are saying the same thing, the author's word choices actually influences your emotions. The first one makes you feel pretty good. The second one possibly makes you feel like, I just want to stay inside and bundle up. So when we're writing, or when the author is writing, we really have to consider the word choices that we make. Let's take a look at these two sentences that say the exact same thing. He is a very determined young man. All right, sounds pretty good, right? He is a very stubborn young man. That doesn't sound very nice. So let's put you in the young man's shoes. How would you rather be described? Determined or stubborn? The word determined is a compliment, and that would bring out positive feelings, whereas stubborn could potentially come across as insulting, bringing out negative feelings. If one of your friends refers to you as determined to someone else, that will make you feel pretty good. But if they use the word stubborn, probably not so much. Let's take a look at a few examples and see if we can determine which sentence has a positive connotation and which one has a negative connotation. Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin. And Alexander Fleming stumbled onto penicillin. Well, let's think about the difference between discovered and stumbled. Discovered makes the action seem like it's an achievement, like, yes, he really did something. Whereas stumbled onto makes it sound like it was an accident. I don't know about you, but I would like to think that Alexander Fleming wanted to be known for discovering something, not just accidentally stumbling onto it. So as we see, discovered gives us the positive connotation, and stumbled onto gives us a negative connotation. In our next example, our sentences state, my new neighbor is a mature woman, and my new neighbor is an elderly woman. Mature and elderly both mean the same thing. They're similar in meaning. Which one do you think has a positive connotation, and which one do you think has a negative connotation? Well, when we look at the word mature, it makes her sound dignified, whereas elderly makes her sound old. In this case, mature is going to give us the positive connotation, and elderly will give us the negative connotation. What about these two sentences? Yesterday's workout was a challenge, or yesterday's workout was very difficult. How would you refer to the workout and give it a positive connotation? Would you say it was a challenge, or would you say it was very difficult? The word challenge makes it sound like an achievement, whereas difficult makes it sound like you're complaining. In this case, difficult is the negative connotation and challenge is the positive connotation. In this example, we have the same description of a child. So which one sounds more positive? That child is more than a little energetic. Or that child is more than a little hyperactive. What's the difference between energetic and hyperactive? Energetic makes it sound like the child is fun to be around, whereas hyperactive makes it sound like the behavior is just a little bit too much to handle. In this case, energetic will give us our positive connotation and hyperactive our negative connotation. We do need to look at one more word that we will come across when we read, and this is known as a euphemism. All a euphemism is a word that has a positive connotation, but it's been used to replace a negative one. To help you understand euphemisms, let's look at some examples. Here we have 3 sentences. I drive a Subaru Impreza. My grandmother died last December, and she is too broke to afford to pay for college. How can we make these sentences sound more positive? Well, instead of I drive a used Subaru Impreza, we could say I drive a pre-owned Subaru Impreza. The word pre-owned sounds more positive than the word used. In the second sentence, my grandmother died last December, we could say my grandmother passed away last December. And then finally, she is too broke to afford to pay for college. A better way to say it is she is too financially challenged to afford to pay for college. In closing, let's recap some of the new reading terms that we have learned in this lesson. Denotation is just the basic literal meaning of a particular word that's used. The connotation is the positive or negative emotions that we feel when we see the word. And sometimes, if the word is neither positive or negative, then we would say that it has a neutral connotation. So if I say, meet me at the park, the word park is neutral. It doesn't bring about a positive or negative feeling. A park is a park. We know that it is a place where you can go and play on a playground or hike a trail, depending on what's available there. And then finally, we learned about euphemisms. And all that is a word with a positive connotation that is used to replace a negative one.